everybody, I am here again today with my pal Mary Jane, and today we will be doing a fun history of Littlest Pet Shop, skipping through some of the weirder generations like 4, 5, and 6 and comparing them to the new Generation 7. All of these facts have been checked by LPS merch. I know that's not like 100% accurate, but it's definitely, compared with me, gonna increase the credibility a lot. We will start off with doing some comparisons of Gen 7 number 1, which is this little panda here. So, looking at these, can any of you guess which ones are new? I mean, I just showed you a picture. So you should be able to tell that this little guy is actually Gen 7 number 1. He does have the heart eyes because they put the personality in his eyes, although this is the only mold that they decided to do that with the new Generation 7. This one is also Generation 7, and you'll notice she also has the heart eyes, but no one else in Generation 7 has that. So with these panda molds, you can see that they have their arm down, which was the most common mold for the bears from Generations 1 to 3. And you can see here that I have this panda bear, and he used to be the model panda bear at one point, and he's got his arm down as well. Same with this one, which looks a little bit older. However, this one has her paw up, kind of touching on her toe, and that one was definitely less common. There are other molds other than just this one, but it was a less common bear mold, so they decided to not redo that model, it looked like. Here, this one's not a panda. I would consider this to be a grizzly bear, but he does have his arm down as well. And then another cute bear mold. I call this one a polar bear, although on LPS merch, they're just all called bears. And I like her as well. There's another bear mold that was with a Blythe doll, but I do not have that one. So as you can see, they pretty much use the same molds, but I do like that they used a little bit of a different design with the hearts, not only in their eyes, but also up above their eyebrows for these panda bears. So now we'll move on to this number 2 in G7, which is the Poodle. And she's actually quite unique. So in Generation 1, most of the poodle molds look like this, although there were a little bit that were shaped more like this one. And this one came out pretty quickly after, and it kind of dominated Generation 2. This one was only popular in Generation 1. And then in Generation 3, we did see some special editions that looked the same shape as this mold, but there were only 2 of them. One was a Sparkliest Pet, and the other one was Poodle 1956, if I'm correct. And then we didn't really see this poodle again because with Generations 4, 5, and 6, they kind of changed the molds a lot. So this poodle is actually quite unique. There's no pet that looks just like it, which is great because the Gen 7s, a lot of them do look like recolors, which we'll get to soon, that I have some very similar pets to some of the new Generation 7s. But she is unique, which is great. And I hope that you guys can get your hands on her soon. I really like her colors. It's the pink and purple. If you guys want to watch her unboxing video and see more, feel free to do that. Okay, so next we'll have a look at the new horses. So we have G7 number 3 here on the left, and we have G7 number 19 here on the right. So these horses are Clydesdales. You can tell by the extra fur around their feet, and they kind of like touch down like this. Versus if you look at the old horses, this horse, is horse 124, one of the first horses. And the feet are different. The hooves do not have extra fur on them, and it's actually the left hoof that is up more versus in the new ones, it's the right hoof that's up more. And as you can see, they have fur around all of their hooves. As well, the tails are different. This tail is more like a My Little Pony, I guess you would expect. And these ones are much more luscious and fluffy. As for their manes, this one is more curly, and obviously this one is shiny, but that's just this pet in particular. And these ones seem to be more rough, and it's not really curly, it goes down straighter. So the Clydesdales did exists before. They had a special edition pet that was a Clydesdale, but the regular horses were all shaped like this. I have a lot more in the back. We have 337 and 338 as well. A lot of the horses would come with things like this, like medals, saddles, hats, as well. Some of them would come with things to pull, like I have this one attached to, and this one as well has a little medal on it. The horses actually, they did use this mold in Generation 4, but they didn't have any color on the horse at all, and they had, you know, those like more Generation 4 pixelated eyes, which I can show you in a second what I'm talking about. Yeah, so when I'm talking about Generation 4, like pixelated eyes, this is kind of what I'm talking about. I guess it wouldn't really be pixelated, but you can really tell that they're printed, and the eyes are definitely very different from, like, for example, Generation 1 and now from Generation 7, which is definitely something people like. I prefer the Generation 7 and the Generation 1. Keep in mind, this is not the standard of how the eyes look. She definitely has a little bit of funny looking eyes from Generation 1. You can have a look at this one for a little bit of a better idea of what Generation 1 looks like. Now we'll get on to what I'm really excited for, which is Caterpillar number 6. So you have in front of you what the original Caterpillars looked like. I'm surprised they're not on LPS merch because, well, I guess they're not on there because they don't really have numbers, but they did have personalities. As you can see, this one is a sportiest pet, and you can see these being used as pets on Sophie GTV's show LPS Popular. So if anyone's a longtime fan, I'm sure you're familiar with these little guys. And then in Generation 2, they introduced this Caterpillar, which is clearly a lot larger than its counterpart, so I guess they're evolving. So next we have the butterfly. I'm just kidding. This is not a Caterpillar mold. This is a completely different mold. I do have another Caterpillar mold like that one there. And the mold that's used for the new G7 Caterpillar was used once before in Generation 3 as a special edition, number 2544, and it was never seen again until now. And before it was more pink and peachy colored, so this is definitely a completely new mold, which is great to see because it definitely makes it special, and it's got that star around its eye, which makes it a sassiest pet, and he's got all these little legs. I think he's really cool, and I'm glad that they brought this mold back. However, these guys will always have my heart. They're just so cute and little. Oops. Here we go. Okay, so next we will be talking about Gen 7, number 7. That's a little bit of a tongue twister. And this is a otter. So on the right here we have 2 Gen 7 otters, and on the left here we have 1 Gen 3 otter, and this is actually a ferret. I just wanted to make a quick distinction between the ferrets and the otters. As you can see, the otters' bodies are more flat on the ground, and they have their tail on the ground. It does look more like an aquatic animal. They even have kind of webbed feet if you look pretty closely. So that's how you can kind of tell between the otter and the ferret. Or of course, you could just look up your pet's number if it's on the box. So the otters came out in Generation 3, and they did have this mold. And then they were not around for Generation 4, 5, or 6, and they came back strong in Generation 7 with 3 otter molds. I'm only missing 1, which is a Toys R Us exclusive that I'm hoping to get soon, and then I will do an unboxing video for you once I get that. So next up for comparisons, we have Gen 7 number 8, which is the rabbit, and I have one question for Littlest Pet Shop. Why? And if you're confused about my question, let me show you. I have behind here a lot of different rabbit molds that they could have chosen from, and they decided to create an entirely new one. Maybe not entirely new because it looks quite similar to this one, or if you look on LPS merch, LPS number 500, however, it's actually a new mold. This ear is longer than this ear, which is different from LPS 500. And as you can see, this one has a more like 3D feel. I can stick my finger in the ear versus this one, it's very flat. You can still see my entire nail. I'll just show that again. So this Littlest Pet Shop has different ears. Now I will say that the bottom part does look more similar to these guys. So it looks like they reused half of the mold and then changed the top. Now the coloring does look similar to a Littlest Pet Shop that has been produced before. However, the other one had eyes more like this, where they come up like that, and it had a blue ring around its eye. So I can't say for sure if they were trying to recreate that one a little bit. If they were going to recreate one, why didn't they recreate this one? I only have 4 copies of LPS Rabbit number 14. Maybe I want a 5th one. I'm just joking. But yeah, I'm really unsure why they created a whole new mold for the head for this rabbit when they had so many viable options. But I do think it's cute either way. I'm thinking that maybe they did it because it just made it easier to paint if you don't have to go within the ears. So kind of like a lazy thing that they did. And I'm sure they'll make a lot of bunnies because they always make a lot of bunnies. Now, in the Toys R Us exclusives, they will be coming out with a bunny that's more like this mold. I have not gotten my hands on that yet, but I do plan to very early in the new year. Alright, so next up we'll be doing the evolution of fish. I do have 2 new fish from Gen 7, but I only have the card for this one, which is number 24 on the right here. So of course we started off with fish like this, and this is the only one, but this was really cool because if you have a pet with a magnet, you can actually do that. I'm not sure if you could see, but the fish moves when the pet with the magnet is looking at it. So that was really cool, but they decided to scrap that. I mean, it is pretty large, hard to play with. And then they just made them outside. So I have a bunch of these little guys. Oh, I also have this pink one over here. And they're cute. They're simple little fish. So then those were all for generations 1 through 3. And then in generation 3, they added some more fish, not called the fish on LPS merch. We also have the angel fish. I have a couple of these guys. But these ones are both under the category of fish. So this one first came out as like a special edition. You can see the special edition sign there. And then they came out with a couple blue ones as well. One was sparkly and one was not. So this one looks pretty similar to the blue ones. I'm not sure if they like started off with the blue mold and went from there. But as you can see, it's very fancy. It doesn't have the shine on it that this one has. So I would say that the old one is even fancier. I kind of like this one better because of the shine on it, but in their defense, this isn't a special edition, so I guess it makes sense, and I do still really like it. For these 2 fish, like, can you even tell the difference? Which one is new, which one is old? This one is actually the new one. It kind of looks cheaper to me from here. This one has the sparkles on the top, and it has like a design around its eye. It's got this on all of its fins. This one does have that on all of its fins as well, but it doesn't have any sparkles. It doesn't have any design around its eye. It does have the same kind of eyelashes as previously. And on this side, it has the diamonds, which does differ it from this one because this one doesn't have the diamonds on the side. And this one has the LPS in the tail, and this one has it on the butt. So those are some differences, but I definitely think that they used this one as inspiration to create this one. So I was a little bit disappointed when I saw this one being so similar, but side by side they do look quite different because this one has the purple eyes. So we'll give it that. But it does kind of remind me of like the rooster differences, which I can go over next, but just for side by side, these are actually pretty much the exact same. They use the same orange on this rooster that they used for this up here. It's a pretty similar yellow. They both used to have sparkles on the top. Now they don't have sparkles on the top. Although the roosters, they kept the same eye color, but they changed the nose color. And with the tails, they changed the pattern on the tails a little bit. So I would say the new one has less detail. Like this looks kind of like someone just threw paint at it versus this one they definitely were trying to convey feathers from that. And this is the male-in rooster, so it does have a special symbol on the back of its head. This one just has the regular LPS, and then it does have the diamonds on the top there. So with all of that, I guess I don't really need to do a separate comparison of the roosters. I also have pictures on my Instagram, MJ Littlest Pet Shop, that you guys could definitely take a look at. So going off the theme of the fish, I just want to get to some other marine mammals here. And this is shark number 14 over here, but we're mainly going to be talking about dolphin number 29 and her counterpart, the other dolphin from Gen 7 here. So these are dolphins, and the reason that I'm going through this is just because my partner thought that they were whales and was very adamant that they were whales. So I just want to say that this is a whale. You can see that it has some bumps on its nose, it has a blowhole, it looks much larger than the dolphins. And yes, they do both have a blowhole, and I think that's why my partner was thinking that they were a whale, but they're dolphins. So I just wanted to clarify that quickly, and while they were up, I thought I would show off the new sharks. And previously I said that I thought the new sharks had much more defined teeth than previously, and then I found my old shark, and nope, they all have really nice teeth. So I guess I was wrong about that. We can see that their eyes are pretty much the exact same design. These two even have the same colored eyes. And these two both have the ombre tips, which is really nice. And then this one does not. So this is the blind box one. I do feel like sometimes Littlest Pet Shop puts less effort into the blind boxes. But I will say some of the other blind box ones are very detailed and very nice. So there are the sharks for you. Next we'll be getting onto the toucans. I can kind of put that up, so if you're wondering when the video is going to end, you can follow up there. And at the end I will be sharing how many Littlest Pet Shops I have in the bag, which is a picture that I posted on Instagram for a competition for a Roblox code, so pay attention, and if you comment that on the picture, then I will send you that Roblox code if it has not already been sent to somebody else. So now we'll be having a look at G7 number 31, which is the toucan. You can see his card right there. I've got a couple other toucans. Can you spot the differences? When I was getting these out of the bag, like I could not tell, oh, is this the new one? Is this the old one? If you look closely at the new one, you can see that the paint looks more printed on. I'm not sure, you can't really tell from the video, but if you get it, the old one looks nicer, like more painted on than the new one. The new one looks like it was kind of printed. Obviously we can tell this one is different. He's very rainbowy. But they do all have teal feet, which is interesting. Do toucans in real life have teal feet? So these two, I definitely think Littlest Pet Shop copied this one when they were creating this one. They have the exact same beak colors, the exact same feet colors. A very similar color overall. Obviously this one's a little bit darker, but I would say that they're both dark blue. The LPS symbol did change. It's up here and it's down there on that one. The molds are the exact same. They both have like the extra tail feathers, which I do like. And this one has the star on its wing, which we saw in a previous video. So they are a little bit different, but like their belly color is the same, their beak color is the same, their eye color is the same, the circle around their eye is the same. So I think they definitely got their inspiration from this guy when they were creating this guy. Alright, so now to go for the old versus new seagulls. Can you guys guess? There's two old, two new. I'll give you a second. You can probably guess that this one's old because the new ones do not have their eyes printed like that. They do have actual eyes with paint or potentially printed paint, but this one, like, it's not 3D. The eyes are not actually part of the mold. And this one is a limited edition, which you can tell by the back. So this is an older seagull. Where it gets harder for me is between, this guy and this guy. When I first saw this guy, it instantly reminded me of this guy. So that kind of gives you, this one is the new one, this is the old one. They both have the same eyelashes, you know, they just have two. They both have a similar eye color, and they both have a symbol on their belly, which is interesting because that's very characteristic of Gen 7, but they have done it in the past as well. Now this one has blue feet, that one has orange feet, so there's definitely differences, which is good because when we get to the end here, you will probably be very angry with me about the hamster. On the back, they look kind of similar from the back. They both have like the darker blue wings and the white on the blue tip. And you can see that their base color is the exact same. But yeah, I guess overall they are a little bit different because this one has more of an orange feel and this one has more of a pink feel, which is nice because that's kind of how real birds are. Like if you see water birds on the beach, a lot of their identification is like, what color feet did it have? Was it black? Was it pink? Was it orange? So I guess that's kind of fun if there's any like birders out there that are like, wow, this seagull is more like this. But that's my opinions on the seagull. And next we will be doing the French Bulldog new mold. Okay, so next up we have the new French Bulldog mold. As I said before, and as you probably know, people were worried that this was the new Great Dane mold. This is the Great Dane mold that people would have wanted, and they were very frustrated to find that this could be the new Great Dane mold, but they were wrong. This is a new French Bulldog. Now this is the old French Bulldog. These do not look similar at all to me. Maybe this is like a French Bulldog puppy, but they do not look anything alike. Now in real life, the French Bulldog is a very similar breed to Boston Terriers. Here's some Boston Terriers for you. And this guy is still significantly bigger than them. I mean, this guy was a lot stockier than them, but I guess this guy's shape is more like them. So a French Bulldog, I could see this being a French Bulldog, but it's a very interesting jump from this. But we have seen Littlest Pet Shop change their molds a lot. This is just a regular Bulldog, by the way. And this is a boxer, boxer number 25, the first boxer. This is also a boxer. This is also a boxer, and this is also a boxer. So as we can see, Littlest Pet Shop changed the boxer molds quite a bit. So I guess we shouldn't be surprised that they changed the French Bulldog mold as they did recently. And soon enough, we will be getting to the hamster, the Gen 7 hamster that I'm quite disappointed in, and I will show you why. Since we're getting near the end of the video and I sometimes forget what to say when I'm wrapping up, the amount of Littlest Pet Shops that I had in my bag that I posted on Instagram at MJ Littlest Pet Shop is 486. I have 488 Littlest Pet Shops now, but 2 of them are not in the bag because one of them is a big fish, similar to this one that I just didn't want to fit in the bag, and the other one is packed up somewhere. I'm going to have to hunt for it later today. So on to these pet shops. Do you notice any differences between them? Can you tell which is new, which is old? From looking at them, I would say this one has a little bit higher quality. I guess it might just be the lighting on the eyes. So now let's look closer at them. This one does not have colored feet. It has green eyes. It has an apple. This one has green eyes. It has an apple. Its feet are painted a little bit of a different color. They're like a more pinkish, so they did put some thought into it. And what is this? This one is a Littlest Pet Shop special edition from the before times, and this one is the new one. So if we switch them, does the lighting make either one look better? I don't know. I really don't know. This is why I was disappointed that it came in such an expensive pack, because they hardly look any different to me. They don't look different to me at all, honestly. And the new one even has less quality if you think about it, because its feet aren't painted and it doesn't have special edition LPS. Quite disappointing. And I've had some people message me about the Littlest Pet Shops that I had for sale before for people to the States. I only have the tube left, but I would be willing to ship it to you for $18 US, which is pretty much exactly what I paid for it. But of course you would have to pay for shipping, and I'm in Canada, so it would likely be international shipping. Just shoot me a message to see if it's still available. And with that, thank you so much for watching, and I hope to see you in the future.